Hello everybody, Rufel here, and I bring to you a different game. A game made by Squaresoft back in 1999. Yes, let us play Final Fantasy VIII. This one was requested of me directly from Chuck Kelty, and well, he did say he wouldn't mind if I told him no, because this is apparently a very disliked entry in the franchise. But well, joke's on you, Chuck. The only Final Fantasy game I've played that I've actively hated was Final Fantasy II, the original one that wasn't released to the United States, because that is the grind fest to end all grind fests. I kind of lost interest in the franchise after Final Fantasy X, but that had nothing to do with the voice acting. Either way, hey, let's begin a new game. However, I will say the opening cutscene was more of Squaresoft's way of saying, "Look how far we've come since Final Fantasy VII." They did and they did actually come a long way since then, but, you know, a lot of the, opening cutscene lacks for real story material. In fact, it's better referred to as, it's better off thought of as a great big fever dream. But, you know. Some of it's relevant. Aha! I'll be here. Who will be waiting? Why will they be waiting? What are they waiting for? You. Let's get on to something relevant. Hey, you! Catch! You missed. You guys really need to learn to parry before you ruin your weapons. There you go. Uh-oh. Oh! Vengeance! Yay! Now, everything in that opening cutscene that wasn't the sword fight between our main character and Cypher, ignore all that. The only thing that was important was the sword fight. The rest of it was just fluff. Speaking of our main character, here he is. Nice bandages, buddy. Ow! Our main character is Squall. She'll leave the name at the default because, well, it's just easier that way. Yeah, I'll say. You nearly got yourself killed, kid. Well, actually, there's a very important reason behind why Squall and Cypher were training together. They're the only two people in this entire military academy who use gun blades. So it's actually kind of important for them to learn from each other. Unfortunately, Cypher's a bit of a hothead. And that's how Squall ended up in the infirmary. But, well, Squall's not the only one who wound up with a scar on his face. Either way, it is kind of irrelevant. Who the what? That's not Instructor Quistis. There she is. Yeah, well, you know. Alright. And now she will escort us to class. Oh yes, you do need to walk during this part. Ah. Yes, what is so funny? Quistis is thinking she's all that because she can kind of predict what Squall is going to say. And of course, she just makes the proper requests in order to goad him into giving his predictable responses. Well done, Master Mind Reader. Oh well. Back to school, kids! That was a very lovely facility. But hooray, we made it to class! And the seed exam is going on today. Yay! This is of importance because Squall is participating in said field exam. Or at least he will be. It's a very important thing. Don't kill your training partner. It's bad for training. Oh, joy. Well, before we go and speak with the instructor, let's actually access our student panel. So what around here is of note? Well, there is a lot of stuff here, really. And most of it is pretty useless. But it does give the game the feel of actually being alive. And it's something I really like. But for here at the tutorial, we can actually get a hold of our guardian forces. They are Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent of lightning, and Shiva, the ice shade, I guess. But no matter. And well, the rest of the tutorial here is exactly what you can find at any time in the game's menu. Now let's turn that off and actually go and speak with our instructor. Well, actually, we should do stuff with these GFs. We should junction them, because that is how we get to do anything in this game. Specifically for Squall, I shall junction Shiva. Now, you notice it's like there's this spot where it's now highlighted where we can junction a spell to our spirit stat, but we don't have any spells. But we also have our battle commands, which we do want to get set. I want GF on top. A GF command is basically our summoning command, which, well, you're going to have a GF bound to you if you're going to be doing anything. Magic in this game is not cast through magic points. It is basically you have an inventory of magic, and this will access it. Draw is how we gain our magic. And item that, well, gives us access to our item bag. Now, I can understand why you need to bind a GF in order to cast magic or draw magic, but why you need one in order to look into your backpack, I'll never know. But never mind that particular gripe. We need to go see the teacher. Scatter her groupies. No, ma'am. Squall was planning to go earlier, but then he got hospitalized. Sounds like a pretty good excuse, really. But Squall's not going to admit to it. Yes, ma'am. Yay! And we can talk to the teacher's groupies, but they don't say anything relevant. We've got places to go. Run for it! But please watch where you're going. Oh, that's good. Well, that class? Yeah. Yep. No, you don't say. I have time to give you a quick tour. If you can really call it a tour. We're just going to go downstairs and show you the directory board. But we're going to talk to this guy first. Hello, sir. He is going to give us cards. How do you play? Go look it up. I don't really know. Hooray! And we get 7 cards for the triple triad game. Which, in all fairness, the cards we have suck. But I'll explain the triple triad game when I actually bother to play it. Which we could do around here, but we're probably not going to get very far. But never mind that. There's the directory. Or if you will, the You Are Here map. And as Squall points out, this is actually a quick travel system for Baum Garden. Sadly, it's only one way. For the dormitory, well, we can sleep. Recover our hit points, as well as the hit points of our GFs. Suppose we'll cover that soon. North Block is where the cafeteria is. The hot dogs are a myth. We will never see them. Well, there's the parking lot. We'll probably never use it. The front gate is self-explanatory. And we are reminded that we do need to go there. Nothing. Over on this side we have the quad, where there's an event being planned, but really nothing of note happens over there. I think something of note happens later on, but, you know. She tries to drag us into helping out with it, but Squall quickly changes the subject. Over here we have the infirmary, where we started the game. Dr. Kadawaki, who if we go and talk to, well, being the doctor that she is, she's a nice person who's actually concerned about how our forehead is doing. Since that was kind of a nasty cut. Onto the East Block we have the training center, where there are monsters that can get us killed. Very literally, yeah, you can die there easily. And the library, where there is some stuff for us to go and pick up. Oh yes, and the headmaster's office is on the 3rd floor. We don't have any means to go there yet. The headmaster's name is Zid, because they had to shoehorn that name into the game somehow. Aha! Yes. Yay! Well, first things first. Now we could go to the cafeteria for some laughs, but well, if you haven't picked up the GFs from the terminal in the classroom, then there's no reason to go to the library right now. The actual reason to go to the library, well, we can pick this up. What is it? It's a magazine. Basically, it's a tabloid. Mysterious monster death. Man in timber was tending to his field when he found a dead monster after hearing a loud impact sound. Said it occurred while making a fence with steel pipes. Very bizarre. That is actually a hint for something much later in the game. But the reason to not come here before getting our GFs is that we can't access this draw point until we have a GF equipped. 7 Asunas. It's actually very useful. Asuna is a pretty high-level spell, and the game making it to the door would be useful. The game describes its magic as being a para-magic system, which is why we get charges of spells rather than having a dedicated magic point system. Are these guys in the red robes? These are the local faculty, and they are all jerks. You're that problem child. Don't you have a seat exam today? And you're making your instructor wait. Get out of my face, kid. What are you even doing here? Yeah, pleasant things never come out of the mouths of those guys. Oh well. Let's actually use the directory and make our way to the front gate. Because that is by far the fastest way to get there. Seriously, that avoided 4 or 5 screens of travel. Hello, ma'am. And if you haven't picked up your GFs from the student terminal, Quistis will give them to you. And now she's going to give us a tutorial about junctioning the GFs, which really I've already gone over. So we can just push the cancel button and leave the tutorial. Yay! Yay, more tutorials! Before we get there, be sure to draw spells out of enemies. That way you'll have some for that tutorial. And now we enter what is going to be the main part of the early game, which is going to be drawing magic out of enemies. This is a slow and tedious process, unfortunately. But it's also a necessary process. Now, the major spells that we'll want to get a hold of. Oh, and just as a point of note, magic is the primary stat for drawing spells. The higher your magic, the faster you'll draw spells. The faster you can accumulate your spells. But the primary spells that we're going to be going after are Cure, Fire, Blizzard, Thunder, Scan, and Sleep. Sleep is probably the most important one, as is Cure. The reason for this is that, well, Squall is able to junction a spell to his spirit. The best one at this point is Cure. And Quistis is able to junction a spell to her magic. The best one at this point is Sleep, which is what makes those spells important. But before we go getting any battles, we want to make sure our GFs are learning what we want them to. The GFs are the bulk of the character customization. And we want them to learn their boost ability because that lets us actually boost their damage in combat. And it learns quick and easily. Now, for the most part, with Shiva, after she learns boost, we'll probably want to move on to strength or getting the ability to refine magic out of items. But, you know, being able to junction more abilities to more magic to your abilities is actually perhaps the more important thing. With Quetzalcoatl here, we'll want to go on to his Thunder Magic Refinement, because after that we'll be able to get Mid-Magic Refinement, which lets us refine stronger spells out of lesser spells. Either way, on to the grind! Aha! Please disregard the graphical glitches, as just a product of my emulator. I don't know why they're there, but they are. But that is how we draw spells. Plain and simple. And for very obvious reasons, I'm going to do the bulk of this off-screen. But for the most part, that will do. Next time, well, we'll have all of our spells drawn and can get on to doing something good. Why is that lagging? I'm gonna have to figure that out. But until then, later.